Hello everybody, Troy here again. I'm probably going to actually do quite a few videos, frankly just because sometimes people want to see the boring monotonous stuff and sometimes people want to see very specific stuff. So in this case it's going to be just a basic feeding. I'm kind of just walking around my room here. I do have a fixed position on my camera. I do apologize for that. And yes, you will get to see me at some point. Probably soon. Just haven't really had anything really good to say on camera other than showing you guys good stuff. So tonight, basically, I need to put a bit of food. I was trying to figure out what to do for my mature worms. And my wife said I'm gonna toss out some bananas unless you need them for the worms. So here I am. So I'm gonna split up. Sorry, there was not much activity on the camera. I'm going to split up a bunch of these bananas that basically are going done, and through the four mature bins that I split last time. So I haven't looked at any of these things in a few days, other than to literally spritz them with water. So let's see what is going on in here. I assume everything is good, but we'll have to make sure. So in my last videos, my last video I should say was like an hour long. If you did not see it, basically I had transplanted. I had 2,500 or so worms in one bin, so I split them into two bins. Kind of just did kind of half. So I have no idea how much is each bin anymore, and it is what it is. Not that you'd ever really know, later on anyways. So I did 2 trenches of food, and honestly, there was not, this is one of the ones that probably got the most in the mature bin. And even then, there probably wasn't anywhere near enough for what I would have liked to feed them. Honestly, I don't think I calculated the amount of food all that well, but I knew I'm going to be in here relatively often, so didn't really care too much, and I gave them a good amount of bedding and stuff like that. So hope you can see that okay. It's funny, all my last videos too, I had mentioned, if you want higher quality, I can put it to something above 1080p. Well, apparently I did already record these in 4K, so I guess that's the best you're going to get. So this I think was, I know this was a banana peel. This was assuming maybe half a banana peel, and that's kind of what it still looks like. There's a lot of worms down here eating something green. I don't want to disturb them too much. Let's see, what was this? Broccoli. Yeah, this is going to take forever to break down, but as you can see, got the wormies here. They weren't breeding very much, and I mean, I think that's for 2 reasons. Oh, there's a good amount here. First, they were transplanted into a new home, and second, there was just way too many in the bin. So I honestly don't know if they're these ones. No, they're not. Probably not breeding. It's going to come along. I'm not terribly concerned about it, and I'd honestly rather it be a little slower than faster, anyways, to get me into a good rhythm. Because with all the babies I have right now, in various stages, I probably have somewhere between 50 and 60,000 worms. So I don't necessarily want, money more than I need at one time. So definitely this trench is working out very well. This is one of 2. There are tons of wormies all over the place. So, and I mean, I'm not picking up all of them or anything like that. So here was a bean, but some of the stuff in here now, because they probably killed the banana pretty hard, is just longer stuff. And yeah, they've definitely eaten their fair share of what they needed to eat so far. So ideally, I would have frozen and then thawed this, but meh. This will take a while to pull apart. That is what it is. But I have tons of cardboard in here. I think I still have a little bit at the bottom. I definitely have a decent amount at the top. And all I'm going to do pretty much is just squish this apart. Not any crazy amount, but just so that there's a bit more surface area than not. And that being said, there's still at least a pound of worms in here, I'm sure. So they're not gonna. It'll take them not much time to go through a couple simple bananas. So that's pretty much it on this side, and just want to dig down here quickly and check the moisture and all the wormies. Yeah, so they're all good. No clatellums on pretty much any of them though, but that is okay. So yeah, I can throw that back down there. And ideally, I would have had. I think we're just going to give them a bit of worm chow too. There's a bunch of white little bits you can kind of see all over the place. That's just remnants of worm chow. It looks like they got my worm chow pretty good, and that's probably like oyster shell or something like that. Where there's not a whole pile on this side. All right, maybe I have to dig in from the middle a bit more or something. Yeah, there they are. So, anyways, I'll give them the two smaller bananas. I'll give them some bunch of veggie powder, which has grit. Sorry, not veggie powder. Worm chow, which has grit and a whole bunch of good stuff. Some oats, and I'm trying to remember what I put in there. Oyster shell, of course, and crushed oyster shell, I should say, and minerals like rock dust and stuff like that for more added grit. A few things for calcium, and so give them a bunch of decent stuff. So I'm going to cover this up, and pretty much that's about it, other than the worm chow. I think I have enough to do. Yeah, I have enough to do some heaping scoopfuls here, so I was kind of cheap on it last time. Make sure they get all their calcium, all their nutrients, and all that good stuff that they want and need. So ideally, I'm by trade, I'm in mechanical. Let's just say I've been in mechanical sales, but I've done many different things over the past kind of 13 or so years. So I'm kind of a data guy. So that being said, I have thermometers kind of all over the room, and smart timers and all that kind of stuff. So why I mention that is that, like, I have heat mats, kind of set up and stuff like that for my worms and all that stuff. And one of the things I opted for was for what is that there? Basically, a smart wall outlet that will tell me how much power consumption and stuff like that. And the nice thing too is, even if you're not in the room, because these things aren't, these heat mat controllers aren't Wi-Fi or anything, you can still tell if they're running by the fact that they're drawing power. So I can tell you right now, if you are in, at least indoors. Outdoors, completely different thing. But if you're indoors and you want to put heat mats on there and you think, oh, they might cause too much money, no, they really don't. Like this room usually stays around maybe 68, and 68 to 70, and I throw the heat mats on there, and I think in the last 7 or 8 days, it's used maybe $4. So these things growing up, like feeding them costs more, technically than that. So, kind of all I'm trying to get at is, if you're ever concerned, should I do a heat mat or not? The answer is definitely yes. Because it's really nice to be able to keep my bins around, let's say 71. I mean, I like to keep them a little bit warmer, but I'm kind of a little too lazy to do that. And have multiple controllers and all that stuff. So that being said, I have one. It's running through all of them, and it works really well. So it keeps stuff, even at nighttime when the house cools down and all that, it keeps it pretty much consistently about 71, 71 and a half, 70 and a half. Depends kind of what I have the setting to. So here you can see there's a heck of a lot more worms right at the surface. So I kind of mentioned that more so in case anyone has any questions about kind of anything kind of not science related, I want to say, but if you want any specific metrics. So if you want to know, I don't know, how much does it cost to, I kind of just said, how much does it cost to heat these things, or, what kind of power output something is, or, how much food are you giving them, or kind of whatever. So right now I'm kind of winging it. I'm trying to get a feel for, food wise anyways, I'm trying to get a feel for their appetites and whatnot. And I figure sometimes, some of the people on YouTube said, oh, this is a, kind of boring, monotonous, I need to watch TV and videos and all that stuff while I'm doing this. And kind of my thought was, well, I mean, that is true. And I'm sure I'm not going to get a million views on me feeding some red wigglers or anything like that. But at the same time, it's probably not the end of the world to talk about what I'm doing instead of watching someone else talk about what they're doing. Everyone has a different take on things, and some people may be, more receptive to requests or, kind of whatever it is. So, in the case of me, I have a almost 4-year-old toddler who is actually his initials are the name of my channel, BBR. So if you can throw if nothing else, if you can just throw a BBR in the comments, and like, subscribe, all that good stuff, I'd really appreciate it. But that being said, basically just I like giving people another take on something. It could be something as simple as everyone has their own brand, of worm chow kind of thing, but it could be, oh, why are you doing XYZ? Are you okay with the amount of moisture that's in your bins? Kind of whatever. So maybe to answer this question, I'm going to put more moisture in this bin. It's pretty dry, but they're certainly happy in this. It's just I had a decent amount of moisture in there on Saturday, and today's Tuesday, when I put in all this extra stuff, and I split the bins and all that stuff. So I didn't want to go heavy on the water, and the next couple days I had to put kind of significant water in there, just to kind of make it better for the worms, because all the cardboard obviously dried stuff up, and I knew that was going to happen, and I watched this stuff like a hawk anyways, probably more than I really ought to. But yeah, so I don't want to see cardboard on top super dry. I know some people need it, and heck, I might need it in the summertime, but in the wintertime, I don't have any flies, I don't have anything, and I just want to get these guys to start breeding soon. So I'm definitely going to be spritzing a whole bunch of water on here, more so than the other bin, because the other bin was a little bit moister, but I pretty much put water on these every single day to some degree. Sometimes they just kind of go around the edge where I don't have the plastic, and sometimes I lift the cover and do it. So it just entirely depends on kind of what the bin is looking at, and what my thermometers are saying, because they sit right on top of the plastic, and I want those, not that they're perfectly indicative of what's inside of here, like what the soil's like, but I want them to at least tell me 42% relative humidity. That's kind of my minimum, or I dump water in here, kind of thing. So in here again, the one thing I always remember is oats, oyster shells. There's a little bit of sugar, not too much. Cornmeal, that's another big one that's in there. Rock dust, quite a bunch of different stuff. But that being said, it's there's really nothing terribly secret about it, and I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to give you my recipe, and honestly, if someone wants to pay me to grind it all up for them, that's fine. I don't see that many people doing that, and I mean, unless you're local, soon I'll have a website up, and it will have kind of starter kits. So, it'll be kind of your choice of bin. And I find a lot of people are going for I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there's a lot of people have the like $200 bins and stuff like that, and all the the really tiered plastic huts and all that stuff. I don't really find a lot of value in that, because they seem to be a lot more of a pain in the butt than anything. I could be wrong, but I guess it really entirely depends, I think, on where you're putting these things. So, like, I hollowed out a closet, just a standard, like a 3 foot deep or 2.5 foot deep or whatever it is closet. Put up a rack, really, really terrible one that I built out of an old bed they took out of this room, because we didn't need 2 spare bedrooms. I realized that pretty quickly in COVID, kind of right after COVID, that it's nice to have 2 spare bedrooms, but kind of what's the point? One of them should be working to try to make me some money, especially in this day and age, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. This is definitely going to need more kind of water and all that stuff, but I'd rather give them a little bit less than a little bit more. I'm more on the liquidy side when I do the babies, but when I do the matures, everyone says kind of 70% moisture is great. That being said, it's nearly impossible to, that's not actually a metric as far as I actually understand. I could completely wrong, but I don't know how you actually calculate, 70%. So I think people kind of just use certain terms as sorry, I'm just filling up some water here into my spray bottle. People use certain terms, and they kind of just get thrown around in different industries. Every industry has their own kind of terminologies, and when you're talking worms, it's kind of 70, 80, 90% is moisture level of the soil. But again, that doesn't really mean a lot. You'd have to talk about, volume of water per certain, like, volume of soil or something like that. So, anyways, that being said, how I kind of determine it is, I don't really want to see dry cardboard, personally. That's my number one thing, because I know they like sitting on the top. So I don't want it to be sopping wet by any stretch, but I want there to be, a certain amount of moisture in it. So let's see. This one is certainly a little bit lower of a bed. This is, again, one of the ones I split them all, but this was, I think, the last one. So I didn't have enough bedding. I didn't have quite as much bedding. And you can see on the bottom here, there is, that is, I don't say dry as a bone, certainly not dry as a bone, but there's certainly there's no food, because this one did not have enough food. I do recall that. So they're getting 2 bananas and I have one left for the next bin. So these ones here get 2 bananas, and the next one gets 1. And I have so much more food. It's all in the freezer. So next, I don't know, probably next Saturday or something like that, I'm gonna, or I don't know, maybe Thursday or Friday. We'll have to see. I'm going to completely fill these guys up with probably a week's worth. I'm going to put these ones actually right in the bed. Or right in the trench, I should say. Yeah, I definitely want to give this one more than the other one, only because I know this one got massively shortchanged. I should have given probably a pound of food, and I didn't. So, yeah, there's a shred of something, whatever that is, of food, and there's a lot of wormies. And hopefully at some point they're going to start mating. I should say mating. They're certainly liking something over here. Let's see if we can see what it is. As kind of boring and well, yeah, pretty much as boring as it sounds, another video I'm going to do is on cardboard, shredding cardboard. I mean, won't be terribly long or anything like that. But it is such a simple thing, such an easy thing to do. And I kind of I feel like a big, huge trash picker when I do it, but every cardboard day, which is every 2 weeks, they offset that with the garbage. People put their cardboard out for municipal pickup in Ottawa, Canada, and I literally just go around my area. And the other day, I'm pretty sure I got 30 pounds of cardboard. So I have I forgot to give them, darn, the chow in here. My goal is to always have far more cardboard than I need, because I know at some point these little buggers are going to basically just grow really exponentially fast, and at that point I'm going to be low. So I never want to be low. That being said, I'm sure it's not hard to find cardboard, but it's pretty easy just to walk down the street and get some cardboard. So that's kind of my goal. One thing I don't have in my worm chow, and I'm certainly not planning to put it in unless I need to, unless someone suggests that it's an absolutely vital thing, is what is that called there? It's diatomaceous earth. So I had kind of thought that, because I kind of thought when I got this bin, it was going to have a whole bunch of stuff in it, because the guy that I bought it from, basically he has, I don't know if it's a shed or if it's just an addition to his house or kind of whatever it is, but it's, or some giant mudroom on the side of his house. I'm really not certain, but, he had all of his stuff, outside in this kind of, again, attachment. And, I think it's part of his house, but it was sopping wet. So, I'm not really certain, I just kind of assumed there was going to be a whole bunch of crap in there. Spiders and mites and whatever. Not that they're necessarily bad, but for anyone that did not watch my last videos, this is in my house. In literally right next to it is going to be the nursery for my new baby soon, and my toddler. So I don't really want to have a lot of things crawling around. So if anyone ever has any mite issues or spider issues or anything or flies or kind of whatever that they really, or I shouldn't say flies, I don't know if it actually helps against that, but anything with a carapace, we'll call it, like any of the peds, so centipedes, millipedes, all that stuff. If you don't want those in your bin, because some of them are very good, but if you don't want them in there, diatomaceous earth is kind of a necessary thing. All right, so last bin. I know I make these videos long, and I mean, it's great if you watch all the way through. Certainly don't have to, but I kind of just, I don't know, just like a lot of other worm people do, I kind of just ramble about what I'm doing, and hopefully people are not using their super amazing, evening time to watch me. Hopefully they're, I don't know, whether you're on the can or whether you're on break at work or you're eating lunch or whatever, and you're kind of just half listening. It's all good. This one here is certainly a bit moister, and there's definitely more. The last one was definitely the last of the splits because there's a lot more media here. So, and I could see, well, oh, hold on, I can grab the right thing. All right, well, there's part of a green bean. Let's dig in. There's probably a lot more food in here, or yeah. See, I epically shortchanged the other one. And it's nice and warm too. So like when you have a heat mat, like this stuff is not cool to the touch. It's kind of like body temperature, kind of 72, which is just wonderful. I mean, I know they can have them a little bit warmer and they might be a bit more productive, but I don't want to get to a tipping point where they get too warm or uncomfortable or anything like that. So yeah, and to me, this is pretty much the ideal. Oh, here's a good little group here. And this is also why I don't want to mess with them too much, because I do want them to breed. And yeah, so again, this is kind of the ideal moisture that I like, where you can tell that things are moist and damp, but beyond that, it's not. You dig down to the bottom, and you can't really see that, but you may or may not be able to see that, but it's perfectly dry down there. So, and these guys clearly have food left. I want to squish this in case there's actually worms in there, but probably should have. I put some of these through a blender, some of these not so much through a blender. So like they're working on this one pretty good. There's like a couple worms in there. The other one they didn't really get to yet. So this is obviously much faster food than green beans is. Damn stickers. I never think to take these off. Oh well. So again, this is only one banana for this side, so or for this mound. This for all of you. This is going to be the last bin. I have 4 bins, and this is the 4th one. Again, this will definitely last them with all the browns that are in here and stuff like that. This will definitely last them for. Actually, I should have probably sprayed that down. This will definitely last them until the weekend. Not at all concerned about that. I'd rather give them a few days to not have my hands in here. Oh, I hear my dog barking, so my kid might be back, which is a good cue to finish this up. So yeah, yummy, right? I know some people just throw in chunks of whatever they got. I'm sure at some point I'll get to that, but for right now, let's give them a bit more of helping hand. And I forgot the freaking worm chow. All right. And then now, because we have a blizzard going on outside, right after this, I have to go snowblow for a second time. Good times. So yeah, you just want to kind of get it nice and wet. Like, again, I have stuff in here. It's all kind of dry, right? You don't want it to dry out the bin. And you don't want them to have a hard time getting through things. And this side of the bin, I don't know if you can see it, is pretty dry. The plastic doesn't cover all the way around because, well, I want to make sure there's a little bit of a dry separation most of the time so they don't climb. They haven't actually tried to get out anywhere, so that's fantastic, but just in case. All right. And that is pretty much that. All right, well, thank you, everyone, and hope you learned something. Please like, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out. And if you can also put in the comments a BBR or anything else. So again, it's a B, so Blake Brian Roberge, essentially. So if you can throw that in the comments, that'd be fantastic. And anything else you want to add. All right, well, have a great day, and I'll make another video in probably like 4 days, I think it is. So thank you. Bye.